Alright, today we're going to roast a black honey processed Costa Rica from Cafe Moto in San Diego. Those guys are awesome. Solar, sustainable, support women's farms, and they get some good beans. So, artesian not working with my Mac, having problems. It'll work intermittently and then it'll all of a sudden stop. I think it's driver issues. Now all of a sudden the driver's looking like it's the right driver, but it's still not working. So we can still roast without it. I didn't buy it because it was artesian capable. I bought it because it was a good roaster. So let's see what it does, manual style. I'm shooting for around 400 degrees or less, 390. I'm just going to look at color mostly. Don't want to get it too dark because it's black honey, but we'll see. I like dark, so check it out. Power up. I'm going to turn it to the third setting, 83, which is a manual setting. I'm going to set the heat up all the way and time up to 25 minutes. Heat's at 413. That way I can control it any time before. If I set the heat low, 400 where I want it, and I decide I don't want it, and I miss the timeline, it'll kick the beans out and I'll have what I have. So set it to max and watch and hit the eject when I'm ready, or extend the time if I want. So it's on. We'll hit start, get it warming up, and we'll get back when the beans are ready to go in. Looking at doing about, I don't know, 200, 220 degree drop the beans in temp. So it's telling me I can go, but I'm looking at 200 degrees right now, environmental temp. So I'm going to wait till 220 and 210, 21. Heat's on 100, fan's not on at all. I want to try and stretch the dry time as long as I can with these, mess with it. So I'm going to start cranking the temp down a little bit in the drying phase. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see what it does. Beans have already turned. So I'm going to lower the heat to maybe like 90%. There's times during this system, even though it's manual, I'm going to run it on manual. I have it on, I guess, a program setting, so sometimes the fan will come on. I'll just turn it down. You can override everything. So a second ago the fan came on to 3. I turned it back down. Still got the temp at 90, or 90% heat. Beans are at 181. When I hit 200, I'll turn the fan on. Maybe that's the time when I think some moisture's been in there from the dry time, so I want to clear it out. I'm at 284 environmental, 188 on the bean temp. They've been in for about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. We're at a point where it's right at 200 here on the bean temp, so I'm going to run the fan for a little bit, maybe clear out some humidity in there. I'm also going to turn the heat down to 85. I'm just watching my rate of rise, make sure it's always going up, but I'd like it to go up slow. I'm going to turn the fan off. 217 bean temp, 305 environmental, 307, 219, 221. 309. So my environmental is going up kind of like I like it. I'm going to still play with it and see if I can slow it down even more to 80%. By the time the beans are in about 6 minutes, I usually start running some fan throughout the rest of the cycle. They've been in for 5, so another minute and I'm going to start doing that. Stick my head here in the camera and check the color. Yeah, I like yellowing right now. Yellowing. 6 minutes. I'll turn the fan on to 2. I'll turn my heat down to 75. Just for a little bit. I'm trying to stretch some of this. Then I'm going to end up having that heat full blast. Well, I don't know. Actually, now I think about it, if I go into first crack and that's when some heat's generated from the beans themselves, I want to have my heat tempered down so I can counter that natural heat production from the beans. 253, 255. That's the bean temp. 334 on the environment. I'm going to run the fan up a little higher. Maybe on 3, probably 4. I'll put it on 5. And I'll leave it on 4. 343 environment, 269 bean. 1804 on the clock from 25. We're counting down for 7 minutes. 350 environment, 280 bean. 1730 on the time. 300 degrees. I'm going to start bringing the temp back up. Bring it up to 80 right now. Run the fan higher. Like at a 7. So I'm at 305 on the bean and 368 on the environment. 307, 370. Getting some color, getting some smoke. I'm going to run the heat up to 90. My fan's on at 7, heat's at 90. We're at 379 environment, 318 on the bean. So we're at 14-minute mark, counting down from 25. 339 bean, 401 environment. I got pretty good color. I haven't heard any cracks yet. 90% on the heat, 7 on the fan setting. I'm leaving it at 90. When I hear first crack, I'm going to crank the heat down. Try and stretch out a little bit of that time that I have for development before I drop. There's the first crack I hear. We're at 1317, 352, 411. So now I'm going to drop some heat, about 5 down to 85. I'm going to kick the fan up. Beans at 356, just turned on the brown color there. About 15-20 seconds into that first crack. Fan's at 8. I ran it up at 9 again, it's smoking. Checking color. 12:20 on the time, counting down from 25. 370 on the bean temp. 428 on environment. First crack's quieted down a lot. We're at 377 on bean temp. 435 on the environment. 379. 381. Got the fan at 9, I got the heat at 85. I'm going to crank the heat back down to like 75. It's flying. We're at 390. We're about there, folks. I hear a little bit of second crack coming. Turn the heat down to 65. That's a warning. I'm just going to extend the time a little. It's in the 395 on the bean temp. I think I'm in second crack right now, so I'm pretty close to where I want to be. Let's see how this goes. So we did it like 397. We've got a 404 reading on the bean temp right now. I don't know where the accuracy is. I haven't calibrated. I trust it. I just know what I like to look at and know how to gauge this based on that. I'm sure I could calibrate and get a little more accuracy, but that's it. We'll have to get back and check how these things are, man. Have a good one. Oh, that's the Hottop KN8828B-2K Plus. I think it's the best one they got right now, so check it out.